Medusa was not born a monster. She was reshaped by gods, by stories, by fear of the untamed. She was once a mortal woman, a priestess of Athena, devoted to wisdom, sacred vows, and silence. But Medusa's presence drew attention, her beauty magnetic, her stillness unsettling. She became a disruption, not because she acted out of order, but because her very existence made the gods uneasy. Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and discipline, was not just a protector of knowledge, she was the protector of structure. When chaos stirred around Medusa and disorder crept into Athena's temple, as Poseidon violated Medusa in the temple, the goddess Athena did not defend the mortal Medusa. Instead, she defended the idea of control. To restore order, Athena transformed her priestess into a creature the world would fear. Serpents for hair, a gaze that petrifies. No longer admired and beloved, Medusa was banished. This was not simple punishment. It was mythic regulation. Medusa became the boundary, a living warning, this far and no further. What the gods could not contain, they condemned. Shame is not always loud. It doesn't always arrive with blame. Sometimes it simply whispers, "You're too much. You make people uncomfortable. You bring too much attention." Shame is the quiet voice that asks us to apologize for simply being who we are. It is the pressure to soften, to shrink, to become easier to name and easier to ignore. In Medusa's myth, shame doesn't begin with a mistake. It begins with presence. Her very existence became a disruption, her radiance unsettling, her power uncontained. And so the story shifted from woman to warning, from human to danger. And this is how shame often begins. Not because we've done something wrong, but because we've refused to become what others wanted of us. Rejection becomes internal. And soon we stop asking, "Why did they turn away?" and begin asking, "What's wrong with me?" But what if the shame was never yours to carry? Medusa's transformation is not only physical, it is mythic. A rebranding of feminine autonomy into something monstrous. Her serpents, ancient symbols of rebirth and wisdom, become warnings. Her gaze, once open, becomes too much for the world to face. Instead, the world tells itself, she is danger, she is destruction. But Medusa didn't ask for vengeance. She simply existed in a form too powerful to be tamed. In a world that demands obedience, a woman who cannot be owned becomes a symbol of fear. Simply because she represents unapologetic power. When Perseus is sent to slay Medusa, he does not look her in the eye. He uses a mirror, never truly confronting her as he beheads the monster. This is how society handles shame, from a distance, never by facing it, but by casting it outward, assigning it to others. Perseus carries her severed head as a weapon, proof of his triumph. But what did he actually conquer? A woman who had already been exiled, a power misunderstood, a truth too raw to bear. However, from her death, something sacred rises. Pegasus, winged, ethereal, uncatchable, a creature born from what was cast out, and a symbol of imagination, transcendence, and freedom. From Medusa's silenced body emerges flight. This is how the story turns, not in punishment, but in resurrection. From rejection comes transformation. Medusa's story did not end in destruction. It endured, quietly, symbolically. Her serpents, often seen as frightening, are ancient symbols of wisdom and protection, coiled intuition, and the ability to shed, to grow, and to begin again. Her gaze, so feared, did not simply turn others to stone. It reflected their own rigidity. It revealed what could not bend, what could not evolve. Medusa became an image carried by warriors, a face placed on shields, not to curse, but to guard. She was transformed from threat into symbol, a symbol of boundaries, of sacred limits, of a presence that could no longer be crossed without consequence. In this light, she was never erased. She was translated. What others cast out as dangerous became something protective, enduring, and watchful. The story they told was one of fear, but underneath it was a different truth. A woman whose presence could not be silenced, even in myth. There are moments in all our lives when we feel like we've been turned into something we're not, shaped by others' discomfort, distorted by misunderstanding, cast as something too sharp, too strange, too much. But the story of Medusa, beneath the layers, is not only one of rejection. It is also about persistence, about the symbols we carry even when we are no longer seen, about the quiet return of what was once feared, now recognized for its depth. Your power, like Medusa's, may not look how the world expects it to. It may protect you instead of pleasing others. It may speak more through presence than performance. And it may take time to see yourself clearly again. But when you do, you'll find that what remains is not the shame. It is the strength that stayed. If you are enjoying these videos, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to dive deeper into the symbolism or the story of Medusa or any of the themes we talked about today, You can check out the recommended readings in the description box below. See you next time.